Now change the login text to register. Now let's write register inside this URL tag. We have already defined this register URL in our URL s.py file. Hopefully we all remember it. So now let's check whether the work we've done so far is working properly or not. Let's log out of the admin panel and go to our website to see if we have a register link and its page. Look here, since I didn't log out, only the logout link is showing. But when I log out, now look, both register and login are showing. Great. Our initial work is complete. Now let's develop the registration form. So let's go back to the code editor. Inside our web app folder, create a file called forms.py where we will develop our registration form. We first need to import the user creation form library. So to do that, type from Django contribution auth forms, then import user creation form. Then we need to import the user model. So type from Django contribution auth models import user. Now let's define a class called registration form and pass the user creation form as a parameter. Now let's define the fields we want to put in the form. We need the email field in this form. Then add the first name, and be sure to define the field type for each field. Now we will define the last name in the same way. Oops, I forgot to import Django forms. Let's import the Django forms package library. To do that, type from Django then import forms. Now let's add some field properties for these fields. Give the email field a label, but we'll leave it blank because we'll be using a placeholder to label this field. Now add the widget property and where we will define some attributes for this field. Here we are using this same property and widget attribute for both the first name and last name fields. I forgot to add another attribute to the widget, which is the class attribute. This is required because we are using Bootstrap. So copy this form control class attribute and paste it in both the first name and last name fields. Now let's create a class called meta. You can say this is a rule in the Django framework where we will define which fields from a model class we want to show in our form. So write model equals user. Then define which fields you want to put in our form. If you had written fields equals underscore underscore all here, all the fields of the user model would have been included, but for our simplicity, we will define the fields. If you notice here, you will see that I am using two fields, password1 and password2. This is actually when the user enters the first password during registration, and then when they enter the second password, it will be checked whether it matches the first password. This is actually a common practice.